I've been to 6 FIFA World Cups since 1994, and I want to tell you about those experiences. I also want to tell you how you can maximize your time this World Cup, and also who I'm predicting is going to win in Qatar 2022. So my first ever World Cup was in the US in 1994. I was here for summer break and I was suddenly surrounded by an incredible vibe. I went to my first game, Cameroon versus Sweden in the Rose Bowl. I think I had about 90,000 fans. In fact, in that World Cup, I had the highest average attendance of any World Cup ever, with 68,000 fans in each game. It was an incredible tournament and I was so happy that my team Brazil won the World Cup with the incredible Bebeto and Romario, even though I was heartbroken because I loved Roberto Baggio and I loved the Italian team as well. But what an incredible first World Cup for me. In 1998, I convinced my dad to let me go to France for the World Cup after I graduated high school, and it was an incredible ambiance. You can only imagine how beautiful Paris was during that summer and all those incredible cities around France that were hosting the tournament. Now, my favorite team, again, Brazil, was doing incredibly well and was and it reached the final, as you know, but it lost against France 3-0 with Ronaldo having horrible luck and was sick during that final game. And despite my favorite team, Brazil, losing, I suddenly got caught up in the vibe and in the ambiance right there in Paris on the Champs-Élysées. Next thing you know, I'm yelling, "Nous sommes champions," and carrying the tricolor flag down the Champs-Élysées and celebrating with the French as they won their World Cup. So in 2002, unfortunately, I couldn't travel to Japan and South Korea for the World Cup because I was in my last semester of college. But I watched as many games as I still could, and I was so happy to see Brazil reach the final and for Ronaldo to get his vengeance by scoring 2 goals against Germany and watching Brazil win its 5th World Cup. What an epic experience. So in 2006, I was studying in England for a master's degree and was able to convince one of my best friends to come with me to Germany to watch and be there at least for the finals, right? And we didn't have any tickets, obviously. We couldn't afford tickets to go to the semifinals or the finals, but at least we were there on the fan mile when we watched Italy beat Germany, and then for Italy to play that memorable game against France where Zidane headbutted that Italian player and changed the whole ambiance of the game. I remember biting my nails, almost crying during that penalty shootout where I'm sitting there hoping that Italy would prevail, and they did. And I remember I was wearing this exact shirt when Italy won in 2006, making Germany one of the most awesome, well-organized tournaments of the World Cup that I've been to. So in 2010, I went to South Africa, and it probably was one of my favorite World Cups because it was so chill and laid back. Plus, I loved the vibe of Cape Town and some of the other cities I went to, and I loved the music. Akon's famous song, Shakira's famous song, the Waka Waka, that really resonated, and we heard it before each game. And I also was able to scalp tickets. I went to see Portugal against Spain. I also got to see Germany against Argentina, even though Argentina lost 4-0 that game. But it was such an awesome World Cup because my team made the semifinal, beat Germany. I had tickets to go see it, except as I was flying to go to Port Elizabeth to go see the game, they made the plane go back to Johannesburg because they ran out of places for the plane to park. And I watched the final in Johannesburg, which was bittersweet. Sweet because my favorite team at the time, Spain, won the game against the Netherlands. Amazing final goal by Iniesta in the dying moments of the game. But unfortunately, I got robbed right there in Johannesburg while I was celebrating with everyone for Spain's victory. But still one of my favorite tournaments. In 2014, I was super excited to go to Brazil, obviously because it's my favorite team. And I was super excited to see the ambiance of a country that lives and dies by football. And so I was in Rio de Janeiro for most of the tournament. I got to see Argentina against Bosnia. I think it was Bosnia's first time in the World Cup. Really awesome experience right there in the Maracanã. And I was watching games on the Copacabana, on the beach, in fan zones, right there in the main areas. I was watching games in parks, in taxi cabs, and even on a plane as I was flying between different cities. What an amazing vibe. But Brazil lost against Germany, got pummeled, and Argentina lost against Germany as well. So while my teams didn't win, it was still an awesome awesome ambiance. I'm really, really glad I was able to make it to Brazil in 2014. 2018, Russia, as you know, hosted the World Cup. Again, well organized. The fan zones were awesome. And I traveled to Volgograd to see Egypt play Saudi Arabia. And I love to see Mohamed Salah score his goal. I left the game when it was 1-1. I had to rush to get to the airport in the last couple of minutes of the game. And when I got to the airport, I met a Saudi fan who had just told me he was sorry for my loss. And I said, why? Egypt drew 1-1, only to find out that Saudi Arabia scored a goal in the dying minutes of the game. So Egypt had a horrible World Cup. All my teams crashed and France won. So props to France. Hoping they don't win this World Cup. And I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win. So here's how to maximize your time in this World Cup. Number one, pick a team. Pick a couple of teams. You want to go hard on the paint and cheer your butt off during the tournament. So you don't want to just be a passive viewer. Pick a couple of teams that you hope will go far in the tournament and really, really follow them, know their players, know their styles, because it makes the tournament just that much more entertaining. Take full advantage of the fan zones. Those are areas made to maximize your time while watching the games and meeting other people and really enjoying the vibe. But if you can't go to the fan zones, then check out the games in the streets and bars and cafes and taxis, like I said. You're going on your phone, wherever it is. Get into the spirit by being in the area where all the fans are. That leads me to another way to maximize, which is to make friends. I can't tell you how many people I hugged and high-fived, met on these tournaments all over the world and got to know their fans, like I told you. And it's just such a cool vibe to be around them and chant their songs and so forth, right? And to really make new friends during the tournament. Now, if you don't have any tickets for the games, it doesn't matter. Not only can you watch the games in the fan zones and so forth, but there is ways to get tickets. In 2010, I scalped tickets right outside the stadium. In 2018, I was able to have friends hook me up with tickets, and also in 2014. So there's always ways to find tickets. If you want to play, you gotta pay, and you can make it happen. In terms of accommodations, you don't want to leave that to the last minute. Now, this World Cup, they're very strict on terms of accommodations. Get it all sorted out as soon as possible, because you don't want to get there and have any issues with your accommodations. Now, finally, make sure safety is a priority. Like I told you, in Johannesburg, I got robbed right there in the fan zone cheering with other people. So you always want to be on your A game. So just make sure safety is a priority. Don't get involved in fights. Don't do anything crazy. Stay within the rules, and you're going to have an incredible, incredible, life-changing experience. So who do I predict is going to win the World Cup? Well, that's easy. So I'm hoping Brazil is going to win, and that's my #1 team to win. And if they don't win, my #2 predicted team has to be Argentina. They're the South American champions, and I really would love to see nothing more than Messi carry the World Cup in his hands. I am so pumped for this World Cup, so make sure to subscribe and message me while you're out there. I'm going to be vlogging while I'm there, so also check out content from Final 50 about the experience and how you can maximize your experience in Qatar 2022. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in this World Cup tournament.